At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
15 अगस्त 47 को हम लोगों को ये पता चला कि हम पाकिस्तान में आ गए हैं।
When I saw them, like two to three people were already burned, 50% of their body were already burned.
एक बार आदमी पूरा बॉडी के साथ देखा हुआ और उसका खाली एक ही सर मिलता है तो वो खौफ तो माइंड में रहेगा ना, लाइफ टाइम वो निकलेगा नहीं।
All of a sudden we need a period of 1.5 minutes when the firing reduced. On that basis, even the sound reduced, and there was there was no noise at all.
Streets were empty. There was no one. It was as though Bombay has no population in it. I think it's going to take a lot more than that to destroy our spirit. And we're going to move on.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what was the point for the small girl and the reason you added that in the videos?
Okay. So when you make a documentary, you need to have a question. You need to be curious about something. You need to be, I'm a filmmaker where my voice is about cinematic truth. So I need to be so troubled by something that I can't understand what it is, and that's why I make a documentary, because the film teaches me. So as I was going through the process, and I had present day, I had the past, which is why I brought in the partition, because I wanted to understand what it was about. I thought to myself, what is the future? Because if I'm showing people this movie, what is it that I want to leave behind as a probing question? And for me, that was the future. And that comes with two ways for me when it comes to this issue of terrorism per se. One is youth and one is the education system. And I wanted to showcase how fragile the youth of our society is. That these beautiful kids are sitting and having fun. They're innocent. They have no idea whether it's a bullet in their hand or not. And that's something I feel that is very important for a change. So whenever you also make a documentary, the tagline of my film is questions are not enough. Because it should always linger on to something, right? That, okay, what are you leaving behind to society? What is it a change? Is it empowerment? Is it, whatever it could be, whatever your subject matter is. But you want to leave something onto society so the change can begin. Otherwise, it's going to be two-dimensional. So that was the reason of the little girls. Yes?
Why didn't you feel the need to go into detail on the actual attackers?
Because this is not a political film. I was very clear in my mind. I'm making a film about the human. This is a representation of anything, any other attack that could happen in any other culture, God forbid, any other, geographical location. It doesn't matter that this has happened in India per se. So I'll give you an example. We were screening at the Arizona Film Festival. I think it was my second film festival. And the Boston bombings had just happened. I think within that week. And we were so amazed because the response that we got at that screening was this collectiveness of people coming together, where people were like, oh my God, I had a friend who was in Boston, and by seeing Gaga, I felt like I was part of a greater community. I felt like I was in a shared space. And that's, for me, what's important as a filmmaker, that it's not just the content that I'm making, but how am I also breaking this wall and bringing it into the audience? What is the interaction that's going to happen? So if I was going to focus on political, on religious, on, the socio-economical situations, it wouldn't have been the purpose of the film for me. Yeah.
Looking back, do you regret, as a student making a film outside of England, do you think it would have been easier to stay in England and find a topic, or do you think that it was a good idea looking back to try and make a film internationally? And will you convince Rachel to do something?
I think, as a student, what was the last part of the question?
Can you convince Rachel to do the same?
So, okay, don't put me in that spot. See, like I said, as a student, it doesn't mean that you're not already a filmmaker. You are. You have that within you. You go to film school. Because film school gives you the tools, or whatever platform of education you come from in film, whether it's work experience or whatnot, which allows you to understand, how do I take what's in here and project that out so that someone else can understand. I have zero regrets in pushing myself to a level that was into the complete deep end, because it pushed me as a filmmaker. It prepped me for graduating out of school. What do I do? Because it just further instated that I can do this. It gave me that confidence that, okay, I know that I was kind of slagging behind the rest of my class because I was the one who didn't really know what I wanted to do my doc on. But then, because I stuck at it, it was a success. And my film school has actually now, I mean, they always use this kind of case as an example when they talk to students and they're doing their doc, that, you know, now they've opened it up and they're like, yes, we can allow international projects, but you have to be able to understand that you have no support. So it's just kind of who you are as a person, you know. Filmmaking has a lot to do with the human being you are, because it's such a personal platform in this route. Yeah.
So how did they let you film over 3 years for a student project? Don't you have deadlines? Like
Yeah.
3 years?
Yeah. So it started as a student
Was that
project.
a graduation project?
No. It started as a student project where I had the first attacks, 2611, and then I had the partition, which I delivered a cut. I left it. And then, if you remember in the beginning when I said I was assisting and I was part of the whole Bollywood system and I had done a Hollywood film as well, and it was kind of all interlinked, I was like, okay, I'm starting my own production company, I'm making my own film, I'm going independent. So I started with that one where I picked it up again. So a film's journey, sometimes, especially in docs, you know, there's a time and place. Every film has its own journey. You can't push it. And by God's will, it came back to me into my arms, and I was like, okay, let's do this, you know? So, no, there were definitely, I have a degree.
So she developed, she handed one in, and then after, unfortunately, it happened again, she readapted it.
Yes.
How long did preparation take? Because I know it can be difficult to get into something.
Right.
How long did it take you to prepare?
So I think, wow, I feel old now trying to remember the time. I think my pre-prod time was like, I think a month or 3 weeks. It must have been from conceptualization. I would say 1 semester, like that's the term that I did my doc in. But, for example, it depends. Like, the old man, I found him quite easily. The kids were hard, because how do I tell a kid's mother, I'm going to shoot your daughter, you're 5 years old, but I'm going to make her play with used bullets, you know? So it depends. Some people were much easier, some people were much harder. Some, for example, for the last attack, so when I spoke to these people for July 13th, I think it was July 14th or 15th when I was shooting. So that person who's sitting in his office that speaks about Kishan, he had just found out. It wasn't, it wasn't time. There was no time that was given. So, I don't know, once you start the process, you'll really find that people come your way. Like some of the stock footage, an anecdote I can share with you is, I was leaving a particular location, and I was in my car, I'd done my interviews, which was one of the sites of the bombings, and I get this knock on my window. And I look over, and it's this little kid. And I'm like, okay. And they were like, this little kid was like, I have the actual footage. I took it from my phone. And I saw what you were doing. Will you take it and just put it in your movie and show people, show the world? So, it's only when you start you will find that things come your way. As long as you're willing to be persistent and you're willing to stay focused, it will come. Yeah.
How do you build trust between you and the subject?
How do you build? That's a really good question.
Because I believe the topic itself is really a very sensitive one.
Yes.
Yes, I did watch half of it, but I really understood by just watching the end.
Right.
And you can see the tension between the subject and you.
Yes.
How did you do it?
So I'll tell you, my mentor from film school, I had actually asked him something similar along these lines, because the the subjects I focus on are very raw and very, straight up. And he said, as a filmmaker, you also need to be a psychiatrist. And he's right. Because if we don't understand human behavior, if we don't understand the basic, you have to treat your subjects like friends. You have to understand that they are coming in your world, they're opening up. So it's the approach, it's how you approach them. Like, for example, with that man that I met who was talking about, the guy who had lost his head, for example, he was very hesitant at first. And I sent my entire crew out of the room. I gave him a cup of coffee. I sat him down and I said, let's talk. I know this is really hard. I know this is challenging. But I want you to know that you're not alone. And let's try build on that. And this is going to go out into the world. And this anger and this anguish that you feel, you can help someone. So it's that bond that you build. And honestly, when you deal with sensitive subjects, if you approach the subject correctly, you will find that this bond develops. It's unsaid. It's completely unsaid, but there's just this invisible bond that develops that just pulls you forward. So you really have to understand. It's like how you work with actors. I'm definitely a director's actor. And you have to understand the psychology. Maybe I'm working with an actor, for example, in a live action film, and I'm not getting what I want out of my actor. But I understand the psychology of this person, then I'm not going to bring it up on set. So maybe while we're having lunch or something, I'm like, oh, by the way, something very casual, and I know it triggers. Maybe with a different actor, it's a complete different approach. So as a director, you need to be a sponge. You have to understand human behavior. You need to, for your own will, and then you'll develop your own tactics. How Rochelle would direct and how I would direct will be completely different. So you will develop your own unique approach, and you will learn that this is my tool bag, this is what I have to play with one person, this is what I don't. Some of my actors, I play games. I play these really crazy games with them, and they love it. Some of them, I'm much more bam, bam, bam. Some of them, I don't give any direction. And I know right before that they'll react. Before the shot, I whisper something in their ear, and we're good to go. So it's really understanding the psychology of a human. Anything else? Yeah, go ahead.
So, have you ever had people to refuse to talk about it when you were searching for a talk?
Yes. Numerous amounts of people who said no. I can tell you, even somebody in my family, some auntie, cousin or something, I don't know, she was at the Taj Hotel. And she's my family. Like an elder family member. I'm like, please, auntie, can I just shoot you? I just need 10 minutes, please. No. I'm so sorry, I refuse. So you're always going to get no's. Overall in film, it's always going to be a no. Mm-hmm. You have to, again, like I said, it's the conviction. If you want it bad enough, you'll get it. Nothing can stop you. You will.
That's the thing. You don't do filmmaking because someone's told you have to, right? It's not like your mom or dad saying you're going to be a doctor. You do film because you can.
Exactly. Okay, so I'd just like to move on to the second point I wanted to tell you about. So the first thing that I mentioned was conviction, right? Which I think we've all understood now as to what I feel about it. The second thing is your voice. Okay, now, as a filmmaker, this will either be something that you know from beforehand, or it will develop as you begin to work. Sorry, do you have a question? Yeah. Sorry, I can't hear you. Can you repeat that? No, I worked with a stunt double. Because I shot like a 4-day sequence of a car chase sequence in Mumbai, and that was his stunt double. So, yes. So now, okay, let's imagine that we're all going to be graduating, let's say, in the next week. Okay, let's just give a real life scenario. Okay, if you are, or whoever it is. What are you going to do now? Where are you going to go? How are you going to move forward, right? So one thing that sets you apart is you need to first have clarity about yourself. That, who am I as a filmmaker, right? Now, as a filmmaker, let's start from the top. I'm a filmmaker. Okay, this is what I love, this is what I want to do. Okay, but who am I as a filmmaker? Am I a writer, a director, an editor? What happens at film schools, you do everything, right? Because you don't have the resources.
Does acting count?
No, not for our world. Acting would be another world.
Oh.
Okay? So, from a filmmaker, then you move on to understanding what is your specification, right? Because that's something that you can sell, right? If I'm going to walk in and say, oh, I'm a filmmaker, please invest in me, they're going to be like, okay, but what exactly do you do? If I walk in and be like, listen, I'm a writer, I'm a director, this is my voice, this is who I am, this is what I want to make, please give me money. It's easier, right? For a person to understand that, yes, this individual has clarity. So your voice is something very important to identify. My voice as a filmmaker, as a writer, and as a director is cinematic truth. That is my voice. All the work that I do focuses on those two words. Every single time I find myself pulling into another direction, I remind myself that has my voice changed? Evolving? Is it still the same? How is it growing? So right now I'm developing a feature film, which is about surrogacy between India and Dubai. Again, yes, that fits into my voice. So when I go in and I'm at a later stage and I'm looking for funding, a person can see my identity as a filmmaker when they look at my body of work. That, okay, yeah, I understand that this kind of makes sense and this is connected. So while you are at film school, that is the greatest time that you have to discover your voice because you get to experiment. You're going to be put into, I'm sure, different formats of filmmaking. I mean, Michelle was saying some of you are doing a music video now. Maybe that's something you absolutely hate. But you have the opportunity to try it, to know that this is not my area. I don't like this. For example, I had to do an experimental film in film school. I really did not enjoy it because I'm more into the rawness of things. But only because I tried it, I could understand that this is something I don't like. So I think one thing I'd like you guys to also think about is how do you define your voice in 2 words? It could be anything, but what is your voice as a filmmaker? Who are you as a person? Why are you in this field? What is it that you want to say? So that's one side of it. The second side of it is that now we have conviction, now we have our voice, right? Now we need to put it into practice. So firstly, having short films when you come out of university helps you a lot because it can help you showcase your work, that this is kind of what I do. And of course, I think Michelle, who is fantastic at this, when it comes to the festival route, how do you kind of go about it? What is the approach? What are the type of budgets you need in place? What film festival is actually worth it? What film festival is just trying to make money off of people like us who are new and just want us to pay all these screening fees that actually don't get us anywhere?
So basically, big fool.
Yes. So, that's something very important to understand. But at the same time, you have to make a living. Right? I can't sit here and say, oh great, like these are all my films and I'm living in this beautiful bubble. I have to earn, I have to make a living. So when I moved back to Dubai, I started getting into commercial work because that was something where I could work as a director, I could work as a writer, and I could still be able to, it would fund me to be able to fund my own films more, right? That I can take time off and sit and work on my feature script or whatever it may be. So commercials are very different. Anybody here who wants to be Dubai's next best TVC director? No one? Yeah? Okay.
No, world's best.
World's best. Okay, that's the attitude. So the commercial route is completely different. Okay, so I'll give you my example. I have a very clear divide in my mind. Who I am as a director, my voice as a director, is in my own independent work. My voice as a commercial director is very different because you have to understand in commercials, you are selling. It is a business.
Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to decide? Everybody's looking for something. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world in the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something.
As you can see, there's still a lot of naturalism in the work that I do for commercials. When I first started, I was quite hesitant because I thought having a documentary background would actually not work in my benefit for commercials. And I was actually surprised, that's a learning I went through, that a lot of production companies were actually reacted very positively to that, because there's a certain humanness that you can bring. You know, you can bring in that human value to the brand. So a lot of the work that I've gotten is much more into the naturalistic, soft, feminine, that kind of category. That, you know, when a brand wants to do something a bit more realistic, I would kind of, you know, get into that. But it's also enabled me to understand when you're working for a client, it's exactly like your financier when you make your own films. It's the same type of pressure. Most of the time, the client and the financier don't really know what they're talking about. I have to be blunt because I think it's important that you understand that. And you are the one having to deal with this voice, and you're trying to tell them that it doesn't work like that. Please let me do my job, right? And it's exactly the same when you have a financier. You're going to be shooting maybe day 22 into your film, and your financier is like, oh, I want to see the rushes. And whatever, the dailies get sent to them, and they're like, oh, but this is rubbish. This is not what you told me. And you're like, no, these are the rushes. These are just the rushes. They don't understand that, right? So it's the same way that as a filmmaker, when it comes to the reality of it, you have to listen a lot. And you need to know when to talk and when not to talk. You need to know how to react, and you need to know how to understand human behavior. Because if I have a financier who is a very powerful, imagined individual and it's not a film fan, I have to cater to them, right? Because they're the ones giving me the money. But if they're in a crappy mood that day because, I don't know, something's happened with one of their businesses or whatever, they don't really care to kind of want to care about a film that some filmmaker is making Sudan or something, right? So how do you make that person understand how important it is to you? It goes back to conviction and your voice. If you can make me feel that what you are making is the most important thing in the world, I'm going to buy it. It's that simple. So one thing is your skill set. The other thing is how you market yourself, in all honesty. Because this industry, like Rochelle said, to me, it's a luxury because we're very lucky. Any of us that are sitting here are lucky. Because I'm sure for all of you to kind of turn around maybe to your families or maybe different cultures you come from or societies, genders, that it's been maybe not the easiest to say that, no, I'm actually going to go study film. Like, this is actually a major. This is actually going to be my career. This is not, just this illusion. It exists. It's a job. It's real. So I think that balance is very important of the passion, which I think is the number one priority that you need that, and the practicality of that. If you can find a way to balance these two, you will be able to sustain yourself. Yes.
Is it possible is it possible that the company would turn you down in minutes of your work? Yes.
Yeah.
What about the budget and then when you
No. You see, you are always replaceable. The moment, I just really like to emphasize on this. If you, as filmmakers, well, as people, we all have egos, right? And as filmmakers, sometimes we feel like we're this godlike person on set where we're like, oh, yes, I'm amazing. This is everything. Like, I am the best. I have everything to offer. You know, a year later, or like even months later, you look at your film, you're like, oh my god, it was terrible. Right? Because artistically, you are an artist first. Your form could be filmmaking, your form could be, I don't know, fine art, it could be anything. For me, why are you an artist? Because you're not satisfied. I'm a very hungry person. I always want to learn, I want to grow. So if I were to turn around, I don't understand people like this, and I've seen this, and I mean, Michelle, I'm sure will agree with me, where they're like, yeah, my film is amazing. And I'm thinking in my head that why are you still a filmmaker? Because if it's amazing, then you must have completed your job. So then where's your passion gone? You must have satisfied everything. You know, if you look at some of the greatest artists that we have in our history, their works have been appreciated after them. You know, the ones that have kind of walked in and been like, I'm awesome. Not to say that confidence is different, but that doesn't work. That hunger is what will always keep you going. So yeah, you're gonna get, I mean, I'm telling you, I've been kicked off of sets because I'm a female. I've been told not to touch the camera equipment because I'm a female. I have been kicked off because suddenly the budget has changed and I'm like, oh, but I'm shooting tomorrow. You know, I've been yelled at on Channel 1 radio with 150 people on set where it's coming to me because my first AD just had a bad day. And you have to pull your socks up. You have to make it happen. I've shot, I think, 28 hours straight. I have shot in the midst of the heat in Rajasthan and India and in the desert, 50 degrees above, 50 degrees below. You have to make it work. So everything comes back to that conviction, passion, voice, dedication, clarity. If you have that, you're not going to care. I was doing a shoot yesterday where I was shooting in a so-called studio where there was no air conditioning. And my actress, per se, was wearing a very heavy Indian outfit. And she comes from a certain brand, she has an establishment, she's a good, well-known name, and she's throwing a tantrum. Now, either I'm going to throw a tantrum because I'm about to pass out with this heat, or I know I have to make this work. So I have to make it work. I have to be her best friend. I have to butter her up. That it's okay. We happen. We're all in this together. Don't worry. I got you. You know, so that trust is what's important.
Yeah, just like 2 days ago, I had a filmmaker, a male filmmaker, tell me I'm not going to get the investment for my documentary because I'm a female filmmaker.
Yeah, so I would just like to, if I speak about this, I don't believe in any gender bias, whether being female or male. But what happens in this local industry that I have personally experienced is, I remember the first production company I met literally told me on my face that, oh, but you're not really going to get a lot of work because you're a female. I'm like, are you looking at me or can we look at my work? Right? Tell me that my work isn't fit for you. That's fine. So you're always going to have boundaries. You have cultural boundaries. I have to shoot a lot in Arabic. I don't speak one word of Arabic, but I have someone feeding me. You know, so you're always going to have challenges that come your way. They're always going to be there, and they're endless. They never stop. I mean, just because Christopher Nolan is who he is, I mean, I know some of my friends have worked with him on his films. They have too. The format is the same. Everybody has challenges. You know, so
right?
Yeah, you just have to. As long as your path is clear, nothing will stop you. You're fine.
No matter what gender you are.
Yeah. So just on that note of challenges, I just wanted to have like.
Yeah, you have.
Okay. So I just want to talk to you about another aspect, which is, so I've spoken about independent filmmaking. I've spoken about commercials, right? I want to talk to you about what it means to work with an NGO. Okay, so a lot of the work that I do, like I said, is more driven by a social cause. So I really enjoy working with NGOs because it's kind of a great, partnership. So I got hired to make a series of 3 films for an NGO through my production company in Frames. And I would actually like to break that wall and tell you how challenging it is to work with an NGO. Because NGOs are personally and emotionally invested in their company, right? Or their cause, or whatever it may be. Yes? non-governmental organizations, so any kind of free, like charities, basically. So this charity that approached me is for specially able children, and that's something I personally feel very passionate about. And I was like, great, this is going to be a fantastic journey. I made another documentary for them and 2 public service films. And it was a very, obviously budgets were low, where you also have to realize that don't chase the money. The money is going to come. Chase the content. If you're able to maybe on one job, okay, listen, I don't really have a lot, but there's a partnership, and that you're able to build your reel and showcase work, do it. Because one day that person's going to need you. So it's about the investment. So this NGO approached me, budgets were not where I would like them to be, and I was like, no, still I'll do it because I feel very much for this cause. Little did I know that PVR Cinemas was going to pick up this film. PVR is the largest exhibitor in India. So like how you have your Odeon or Vox or anything like that. And they picked up this film. I didn't know that. Then the government and Ministry of Social Affairs picked up this film. I didn't know that. If I had just looked at, okay, I'm barely, I'm basically this is a pro bono job, I didn't know that I would get that leverage. But now, I'm pitching for a government job in Dubai, and I can say, oh, by the way, I have a government project I worked on in India. Yes. So this is a public service film, a public service awareness film, and I'd just like to show it to you.
Me?
You mentioned that you were developing your next feature film, right? How would you fund it? Would you fund it on your own, or would you go to production?
No, I would not fund. I would not fund it on my own. It will be funded either through film funds or personal financiers.
So not.
Never fund your own film.
No.
Yeah, but not a production company.
No, a production company won't. You need a financier. You just need somebody. If you know somebody that has a lot of money, and they'll invest because they're passionate about your subject. They'll come on board, or their film funds all around.
Nice.
Would you sell your script to your investor if it takes like a thing?
You mean and not direct it?
Yeah, no, we would just sell that script, and then they would give you their terms and stuff. But they're investing in it. They're giving you funds.
Yes.
And then you would get to terms and then you direct it, or would you sell the script?
Yeah, you have to.
You would sell it. They don't
You
know
have
if
to.
they bring the money. Right? Most of the time they own the IP rights.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you fund your own film?
Because
there's enough rich people in this world.
Exactly. Because funding your own film is not
it's just not a business.
Yeah. We're filmmakers. I don't know how many of us here know how to. I'm personally not a guru of finance. You know what I mean? I don't really want that headache on my shoulders when I'm trying to run and chase a camel somewhere because I want a shot of his hoof in high speed. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, oh gosh, my crew's overboard. I need to add in another $5,000.
At the same time, if you had $1 million dirhams and you had an idea that you genuinely believed in, you would fund yourself.
Yes, but I wouldn't recommend it because why would you put your own money at risk? It's really selfish, but it's true.
Why would you put other people's money?
Because they're investors. They're people. Even banks have investment arms to them for film. So this is what they do as a business.
Okay,
so when they're looking at you,
What about a film that's crowdfunded?
Yeah, crowdfunding, that's fine
so
too.
So if that film tanks.
Yeah, but I'm trying to say.
What do you get out of it? No, that's not how crowdfunding works.
That's a whole
Give
different
something
area.
back.
Yeah, that's a whole. So you would give credit, you would give something in return. Like if you're giving me value, I'm going to give you value. So you look at the purpose of why you're making that film as well, right? If you're making a short film and you have your features, every project is for the next project. So your feature film is script is pretty much almost ready. So when you're walking around film festivals, you're like, okay, well this is this film, but wait, since I have your attention, can I please pitch my feature film to you? So that's how it happens. You'll always go into a film festival with something else in your bag. Because there's no point going in and saying, great, I've won an award, okay, that's fantastic, whatever. But you want to maximize that relationship you've built. Yeah?
One last question.
Yeah.
No.
How does getting the permit for location works like in Dubai? So, because one time I was using the tripod with the camera and the security just stopped me like, oh, you can't shoot here, you need a permit. Then when I removed the tripod, they were okay with it. Like,
yeah,
you can't be like too notorious. Like, how does getting a permit work?
So a lot of the tripod thing is actually a lot worldwide. Like even in New York, you can't put your sticks on the ground. Like it's this joke in the industry. I don't know if you've heard. Like you can't put your tripod on the ground. Here, it's very strict. Okay, don't be stupid. Like don't try and if you're in India, I would tell you that okay, other countries there are ways. Here, no. Here you have to basically be licensed with the Dubai Film and TV Commission. And if you don't have a license, you can approach a company and say, this is what I want to do. Most times they'll charge you a fee or something and they'll take responsibility. And then they submit, it depends on what it is, usually you have to submit the script into the film commission. It usually takes 5 to 7 working days. And then you give where the location is, and usually you'll get more than one location permission. So imagine I want to shoot maybe in Ras Al Khor and somewhere else. I would have that permission for that area. And then you pay them the fee, and then you have that permission. And somebody who's either from that company or is a location manager will always be on set. Don't be fooled by that. Make sure somebody's on set with you. Even if they have to sit in the chair all day long, then sit in the chair all day long. Because if one person comes up to you, and especially it's someone local and so they're speaking to you, you can't even understand what they're saying, and they're like, okay, you don't have permission. Well, I do. This is my permission. I'm safe. So don't play around.
What about locals themselves?
What?
No.
No, you still need permission.
And on a separate note, guys, whenever you want to film, I think you guys are T1, so it's a little. I don't think you know yet, but you just go to Michelle. Everybody know Michelle? Oh wow.
So there you go.
You are T4.
So I'll be calling you guys and be like, listen, I need to shoot here.
Go to 2B, go to Michelle and say, I need the SAE filming permit. It's a letter, they give it to you. You won't ever have a problem filming. You show that permit and you show your ID, you are fine. Okay?
Yeah, usually students always get you that lucky. So shoot as much as you can.
Alright.
Okay, great. Thank you. Why have you chosen film? What inspires you?
I believe to be in a phase where you need to feel satisfaction is to give out knowledge and inspire people by educating them. I believe that if you portray your ideas and the concepts you have in your mind into this world, maybe you can start by changing different aspects. And the main reason is to educate myself and the world.
What was your ambition when you first started? When did you discover this? And then is it still the same after coming to film school, or has it changed in any way?
I'm new here, actually. This is my second week, so I'm a newbie. But definitely, I've been in 2 short movies, which I really liked. It's always hard sometimes on set, but you just go for it because like I said, at the end, the magic is amazing, so you're just so happy.
What do you see as the future of the industry in Dubai in terms of film?
The future of the industry? A lot of movies, like English, Arabic. I think it's like mixed race of like everything, Indian, Arabic, all kinds of like different cultures.
And have you done any intern work?
No, not yet.
And what's your dream?
My dream? I told you my dream.
Just tell me when.
I want to become a director and actor. And I am a dancer, but like on the side. So I feel like for me, that's my hobby as a dancer, and I want to be able to mix choreography with cinematography and make something amazing, like music videos and all these type of things.
And why have you chosen film?
To be honest, throughout my life, I've been brought up in this aspect of, you got to do business. You have to always be around this business side, because my dad's a businessman, and my mom's also got into that side, though she wanted to be a teacher. Now, as I started growing up, I felt like that was not my thing at all. I just couldn't take care of something that broad, and I felt like there was a lot more to myself that I wanted to reach. So I started growing up, and I realized that movies were something that really inspired me. And I felt like film was something that was very unique, because you can be very creative and you have your own freedom in the way you choose and the way you want to show the world, and I felt that was my thing.
And after coming to film school, do you feel that that ambition is the same, or has it changed?
Definitely. I feel like it's broadened my aspect of film. It's made me realize that there was a lot more that you could do. From my mind was very closed up to what film was, because I was into corporate filmmaking, and that's what I want to also get into. But now I realize that there is a lot more to film.
When you discovered film, like, when did you discover it, and the ambitions that you had then, what were they? And now after film school, have they changed?
I think it started when I was a teenager. I don't remember exactly what age. But in America, I was working a lot of 9-to-5 jobs, just trying to make it. And then I was thinking, and I was very big into movies. I was very comic book geek when I was a kid. And that kind of, when I started seeing Marvel coming up with all their films, and then I got into Jurassic Park, I started branching out a little bit, and it was just very interesting how all these aspects and things I'm starting to see on the big screen. And I really thought about, maybe doing films. I started watching special features and how they make the films and the different camera angles and what they mean. And I was like, I really need to get into film school. And I started meeting a bunch of people that were going to film schools in America. And then my dad moved to Dubai, and I had an opportunity to come out here, and so I wanted to. My goal for film is to win an Academy Award for Best Director and Oscars, and just be recognized by people who I've made an impact on. I'm equivalent to like Steven Spielberg, or I've been influenced through my style of directing or teaching actors, and maybe even have my own masterclass, like things that are starting to come out.